Good morning, members of the Long Point Bay community. Happy Easter. Always great to be with you, especially on such a momentous celebration as Easter. I need to start by telling you some things about the gospel that you may miss and may not notice that you miss it because you can fill in from other gospels that you've read and heard. My favorite gospel for the resurrection, because of all that it doesn't say and all that's not there and all that it expects us to fill in from our own experience. First of all, there is no appearance narrative. The women are going to the tomb to anoint the body. An exercise of respect that there was no time and no opportunity to do at the time. So they come to the tomb and they're worried about, how are we going to get into the tomb? The rocks, it's not closed, it's open. So that stuns them. They walk in and they have an experience of, I'll say what's called an angelophany, a manifestation of an angel. And what angel means is it's a manifestation of a messenger. That's what angel really means. So here's this messenger and greets them and says, "You're looking for Jesus. He's not here." That's the first point. You're looking for Jesus among the dead. You won't find him. He's not among the dead. He's among the living. So the women are tasked to be the angels for Jesus' followers, the messenger for Jesus' followers. Go and tell them he's risen. He's not in the tomb. He's not dead. He's alive. And they will meet him on the road, along the road. So the question is, have you met Jesus on the road? Yes, I have. And I guess the experience that stands out for me, I guess not as the really initial one or the only one, but the one that was the most graphic for me, and has kind of been the benchmark for lots of experiences of the risen Christ ever since. I was rector of St. Timothy's Parish in Hamilton. Best community I have ever had the privilege of working with. Really well connected, really well involved from care for the seniors right down to work with the kids. A really, really close-knit community. They were all that a parish should be. I've had them on both ends of the spectrum, but it was wonderful, and we had to close. We couldn't afford to stay open. Gut-wrenching, might as well rip my heart out. The day we had to close, and I'm sure some of you know what this is like, you could have ripped my heart out and it wouldn't have hurt as badly. It just tore us up. And I remember the days after that, that devastating experience of loss, that devastating experience of, so is this what this is all about? Holy God, how do we handle this? And having an experience, and I can tell you the experience, but I don't remember whether it was a dream or half asleep or just an awareness. Anyway, it was a clear awareness of Jesus saying, "Suck it up. I'm not dead. Keep going. We're in this together for the long haul." Oh, okay. And it really was that sense of, this is not over. It may be a pause. It may be a really stumbling block in the road. We'll get around it. We'll get over it. And we'll go further on down the road together. And that's not, I suppose it was the first, because of it was so powerful. Have I had experiences like that down the road? Absolutely. Have I hit dead ends? Absolutely. My life's been full of dead ends that really weren't dead ends, but they were traumatic and seemed like endings. But they were simply bends in the road, and which I was only able to make because God took my hands. Come on, we can do this. Come on, So I do have an understanding of that experience. That's why this gospel is my favorite in terms of the Easter proclamation. It's not over. It's not ended. And Jesus is not gone. Don't look for him among the dead. He's with the living. So go on down the road and experience the presence of the risen Christ in the midst of the struggles of human beings alive and trying to live that life. So in the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of this experience of impending death, how do we live? How do we respond? And I have to be up straight honest with you. It's a little easier for me to do this now. Just over a week ago, I got shot. So I've had the first inoculation. So there is hope. But we need to continue to support each other. We need to continue to bring good news, to be good news for each other, as we seem to hit the dead ends, as we seem to hit the really challenging time in this terrible pandemic. While I say it's over, it's not over, and it's not over for me. In the sense of that there are people that I care about who haven't been inoculated. There are people that I love that are still at risk. So how do I care for them? What good news do I bring to them? Allison my wife finally got an appointment, and so she's getting shot this week. And so the minute she got that good news, she's been even more anxious than I have. So now I can turn to somebody else that needs some support. There is good news. While we are in the midst of death, we are in life. That was the message of Jesus for Easter and down the road. So as we continue on down the road, both in this pandemic time and in this springtime, this is the time of new life. This is the time of watching the earth come to life. We were out on one trail last week and saw snowdrops, a whole pile of snowdrops bursting up through the ground. So yes, in the midst of death, there is life. This is the season of birth and birthing and new growth. How do you see it within your own family? Where do you see the good news rising, meeting you along the road? And I think that's really, really critical. We need each other, and we need the good news that we can bring to each other. Because we're all going to get that good news. We're all going to get that awareness, that aha moment at different times. So bring it to each other. Don't hesitate to say, you know what I saw yesterday? Or, you know what I saw today? Reminders that it's not over. Yes, in the midst of death, we are in life. And we celebrate that. It's the season of Easter. With whom will you share it? To whom will you bring that good news? From what tomb, as the women, will you go to bring the good news that it's not over? We are in life, and we are going to share that life, and we're going to support that life with the people who are still with us. And on that journey, God bless, and have an incredibly life-giving Easter.